Morning, the Jackson family is reportedly denying that Michael Jackson's oldest son wants to testify in the Conrad Murray trial. Now, that's according to a source close to Catherine Jackson. A bodyguard had testified that Prince and Paris Jackson saw Murray trying to revive their dad. Neither the prosecution nor the defense have subpoenaed the children. Facebook is filled with your comments on this case this morning. Debbie's opinion, Michael also contributed to his own death, she says. It is sad, and I hated it when he died, but please remember, he was an addict. But Lila writes, this should be a slam dunk for the prosecution. Dr. Murray should have never given that medication outside of a hospital. That makes him guilty. I know that you probably have a strong opinion, so go to CNN.com/Robin. From there, you can link to our Facebook if you don't know how to get there automatically. You can email from there or tweet me directly at Robin Meade on Twitter. I read all those. It is now official. Did you know the New Jersey Nets will become the Brooklyn Nets next year? And rapper Jay-Z Carlos, who's one of the partial owners, says to celebrate, he's putting on 8 concerts.
8? I mean, 8. By concert 7, because you perform.
The King of Pop on the powerful anesthetic propofol. Prosecutors claim that the doctor was negligent in administering the drug, but Murray's attorneys will try to prove Jackson, desperate for sleep, gave himself another dose of the medication.
It's an ongoing thing. It just didn't develop just over the last couple days before he died.
Well, choreographer and producer Kenny Ortega will be the first person to take the stand. He worked with Jackson on his comeback tour. You may remember Murray had an office here in town. It was shut down shortly after Jackson's death, and he faced up to 4 years in prison. He does face 4 years if convicted.
Neighbors and businesses are agreeing to disagree over
the trial against the man accused of killing Michael Jackson. Dr. Conrad Murray, opening statements scheduled to begin about 45 minutes or less from now inside the courthouse behind me, the famed Los Angeles courthouse. O.J. Simpson was tried there. Now Conrad Murray goes on trial. Outside the courthouse this morning, and the scene outside the courthouse, unlike anything I've seen in several months at least. We go outside that courthouse now to our own Jane Velez Mitchell. Jane, has the madness begun yet?
It has begun, Vinny. It's a wild scene. Take a look at across the street. That's just across the street. Now, on this side, this is the courthouse side, a really wild scene. You see over here, you've got a lot of supporters of Dr. Conrad Murray. One of the attorneys for Dr. Conrad Murray just walked in court, and I asked him, does this give you hope? Because they had wanted sequestration, saying, hey, we're not going to get a fair trial. But look at this. A lot of supporters of Dr. Conrad Murray. And the attorney said, yes, it does give him hope. However, take a look at this. These are Michael Jackson supporters, and we've got a slew of them here. Justice, this lady, Robin, why are you here?
I'm here to get justice for Michael Jackson. Conrad Murray had no equipment to monitor him. He had no resuscitating equipment. To me, it's murder too, not involuntary manslaughter, but we'll take what we can get.
But why are you taking time out of your day to be here? That's what I want to know.
We're representing fans from all over the world. This is a worldwide movement, and we are lucky enough to live in LA, and we are supporting and representing every fan from all over the world. Justice.
Diagnosis murder.
Justice for Michael. In the world will have fans like this coming for Michael Jackson. Lindsay Lohan had to report there was nobody but maybe a couple people there. This is a man who isn't even living, but showed such love and admiration for his fans that we do take time off, and we are normal people, but we're here to show our support.
And take a look at this. You've got signs everywhere. Look at this. Impossible to self-administer the huge amount the coroner found. But I want to come over here very quickly, if I may, and I want to come up to this lady here. She's being interviewed, but can I jump in because we're live for 1 second? I know you're here actually from your church, and tell us
We're here from West Angeles Church of God in Christ.
Truth in
Dr. Charles Bishop.
Their hearts are destruction. Their throats are open graves.
I'm Beatrice.
They flatter with their tongues.
And this is Michelle.
Make them bear their guilt.
Why are you here? Why do you support Dr. Conrad Murray?
He's a godly man. He's a man of love. I know him personally. He loved Michael. They were friends. He is a good gentleman. He's a great, outstanding doctor. We love Dr. Murray. We support him. There are people here from San Diego, Arizona. There are many people here from Houston. They are coming from all over to stand up for Dr. Dr. Murray. We love Dr. Murray.
All right, thank you so much. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We were going live there, and we had arranged to interview this lady live. Thank you.
Hugs, not drugs.
All right.
Hugs, not drugs.
All right, well, it's a mad scene here, as you can see.
Hugs, not drugs.
We've got a lot going on.
Justice for Michael.
I'm going to toss it back to you. You can ask me a question. It's a little tense here. A little tense. Back to you, Vinny.
Jane, I don't know if you can hear me, but how close is this whole area to where Dr. Conrad Murray is going to enter the courthouse and where Michael Jackson's family is going to enter the courthouse?
Well, that's a very good question. I've heard stories at this courthouse for years, and there are several ways to get in.
Justice for
What's the chance that they're going to want to come run this gauntlet in directly and also
It looks like we're losing our picture with Jane Velez Mitchell. So let's do this. It's madness outside the courthouse. You can see that. Let's go inside that courthouse now. Alan Duke, CNN producer, is inside the courthouse right now. Alan, how would you describe the mood inside there? And do we know if anyone's arrived yet?
Oh, yes, definitely. Now, the Jackson family, they're not here yet. At least we've not seen them inside. But what happens, the question, how do they arrive? Dr. Conrad Murray comes in an SUV, a black SUV with tinted windows. He goes down into the basement and parks there, usually arriving with lead attorney Ed Chernoff and a bodyguard. He's escorted by deputies up the elevator to the 9th floor. The 9th floor is where the O.J. trial was, this Phil Spector trial, the Anna Nicole Smith drug trial last year, and so it's high security. In fact, in order to get from any other floor to the 9th floor, you've got to go through an extra layer of security. However, Dr. Murray and the Jackson family, they don't have to do that. They go up on a very special elevator that is private, and so they get that. But we've not seen any sign of them yet. Yes, the Jacksons will arrive through that crowd of fans. In fact, as we had preliminary hearings, the Jacksons have, of course, talked to the fans, waved to the fans, and the fans have cheered them. But Dr. Murray no longer does that route. He goes in through the basement. Yeah, but it's tense here. I'm on a floor. I'm just above where the courtroom is, where the trial is going to be. We're able to bring our cameras in here. Nowhere else other than the courtroom and right here do they allow cameras.
All right, also joining us today, Nancy Grace producer Natisha Lance and A.J. Hammer, the host of Showbiz Tonight. Also, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks, as we prepare for this trial, less than an hour away from opening statements here in the Michael Jackson manslaughter case. A.J., let me go to you. We saw that scene outside the courthouse. That is something I absolutely expected, and my guess is that scene is going to build and build as this trial gets underway.
Yeah, that is just the beginning for sure, and it's not surprising at all. We definitely expected that. And it's interesting to see all of the Conrad Murray supporters out there. Obviously, from what we were able to see in the shot with Jane Velez Mitchell, it was an organized group. They all had signs that were apparently printed from the same place. The woman that Jane spoke with indicating that she was a part of the church that is supporting Conrad Murray, and she knew Conrad Murray personally. It's interesting as you sort of look at the levels of support going into this case, fair or not. Conrad Murray doesn't seem to have the same level of support, at least out there in social media. I've read on our Facebook page, and just checking out the internet in general, you're not seeing this widespread support for Dr. Murray. As you would imagine, you would see much more for Michael Jackson. Of course, Michael Jackson not on trial in this case, but of course his past is going to be brought up. It's going to be very interesting to see what path is taken. Expect the chaos to build for sure, Vinny. I think as we get into the coming weeks after opening statements and we start to hear and learn more details and people are more aware that the trial is actually going on right now, you're going to see the crowds build. Remember, when Michael Jackson was on trial himself early in the 2000s and back in the 1990s, the crowds were insane outside the courthouse. So definitely expect more and more crowds to be coming there every day.
Absolutely, AJ. And I don't know if we have a shot of what's going on outside the courthouse. If we do, we can throw it up for everyone. And Natisha Lance is also here outside the courthouse here in L.A. with me. And Natisha, I'm thinking about this case, and obviously the comparison is obvious. It's that other case down in Orlando, right? But this on day one. My goodness, the intensity that we're seeing already is something else.
All I gotta say is wow. You gotta love a Michael Jackson fan, and I expect to see more people, just as AJ was pointing out, more people coming out here, more people dressed up like Michael Jackson. I do believe we heard earlier that there were some people already dressed up like Michael Jackson earlier today. They had wristbands on, but if they were gonna stand in line for that lottery, they had to take those wristbands off. So I expect to see more and more people coming in. People from all over the world, Vinny, are coming for this. People from Australia, all over
Team
Europe.
Murray out there too, Conrad Murray supporters. So this is not going to be a one-sided affair necessarily, at least outside of the
Exactly. I was surprised to see as many Conrad Murray supporters out here. Were you surprised to see that today?
I didn't think we were going to see one.
I didn't think we were going to see it either.
A whole lot more than one. All right, we got a lot to cover here. We're counting down opening statements in the trial for the man accused of killing Michael Jackson. A little more than a half hour away. If you want to stay on top of this story and everything else we follow here on Special Report, make sure you're following me on Twitter. The address is my name, @VinnyPolitan. I'm here in LA. I'll give you all the behind-the-scenes stuff as it happens. You can also follow everything that happens inside the courtroom by following our Conrad Murray trial blog. Here's what you got to do now. You ready? Log on to hlntv.com/Michael Jackson. More countdown to the start of Conrad Murray's trial after the break.